Hi, and welcome back to Roulette's Play Home, a unique horror adventure. When we last left off, we had just seen Norman was killed, and we were exploring our way back towards home. I don't know which one of these is my home. It was locked. This wasn't the right gate. Okay, so I guess we're gonna do this till we get the right one. This gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. I must be freaking out my neighbors. Like, Nancy, someone just tried for the gate. The door only led me back. I had to find my house. Damn, I should have gone past it, but I didn't know which one it was. Why do I have a TV outside of my house? Ooh, mailbox. The neighbor's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it in all the way. I knew it wasn't right, but I totally read the letter. The envelope was addressed to Norman. There was no return address, but the handwriting looked oddly familiar. I took a deep breath and tore open the package. Norman, I'm sending this to you in a letter because I'm afraid to tell you in person. What we did, well, it was wrong. My husband isn't an easy man to be with, but that was a bad place to put a space. But he is my husband and your friend. I need some time to sort this out, away from you both. I'm going away for a while. I'm going to tell him. Norman, don't you think that you can hold that against me? Maybe we'll work it out. I'm not sure I even want to, but he deserves at least that much. Goodbye. I didn't know what to think. My mind was racing. My heart was pounding. I just had to get home. I had to. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, and maybe it's because I'm a devious and terrible person, if we wanted to... Oh, well, I think I found our house. That was a slight idea. I'm going to try the other doors just to be on the safe side, though, because I don't want to miss anything. Nope, not my house. And not my house. And I think that leads back to the beginning now. You would think the rain would have done something about that blood. I entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I never did fix this gate. It was stuck. I needed to press on. There was no point in turning back. Our backyard is fucking terrifying. Like, I would not want this backyard. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the power switch by the door. The power was off. Oh no, that means all that milk I got and it's all rotting. Great. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was it yesterday or sometime before? The table was clean. It hadn't been used recently. Okay, there's a basement and upstairs. Ooh, what's this? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked it up? 'Cause we killed her. Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill, so I opened it. I ripped it open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling due to non-payment. What the hell? This didn't make any sense. The front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though. I needed to see if Rachel was here. What? How does it... That doesn't seem very safe, to have a door that locks from the inside. Let's go to the right. Oh, maybe not. This door was stuck shut. It was an old-fashioned keyhole under the handle. So we need to find a key. And what else we got in our... This is actually a pretty big house. I'd found the last missing piece of my wallet, the old photo of Rachel, and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable, but I kept it anyways, because of that hoarding problem we talked about. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had gotten part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Ooh, TV! Our television. I purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but by then it was too late. 'Cause you threw away the receipt? Or... Rachel was pretty angry about that, I realized. There's a return policy. Or are we like, no, I can't. Oh, look what I did to the box. I'm sorry, dear. I can't return the 60-inch TV. Ah, damn. Let's stick with our Our hallway mirror had been shattered, its pieces scattered around the floor. I couldn't really make myself out anymore. I wasn't sure I wanted to. I probably looked like, there's blood there. There's blood. Okay. What's this? My laptop had been left on. It only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top drawer, which I took so I can open that door. I pocketed the key. The laptop was warm. It had been running for a while. Wow, this laptop has a hell of a battery. If we've been gone long enough for there to be mail piling up and credit cards being canceled, but the laptop is still running. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always got stuck, but I hadn't gotten around to fixing it. That old house was charming, but it sure wasn't easy. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old clawfoot bathtubs, also known as the thing that when you fall getting out of it, you're probably going to need surgery. It seemed impractical at the times, but it was part of what made the house a home. Apparently I can't go to the bathroom, so... That was a wonderful trip down Clawfoot memory lane. Books. The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I look more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. One book in particular seemed a bit odd. I remembered owning it, but not that edition. My wife's Rachel's suitcase. Ha! We finally got an answer. Rachel is my wife. My wife's Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had a feeling of what was in it. So I opened it anyways. Inside were a few days worth of clothes, some personal effects, and a train ticket. As I stared at the ticket, I could feel myself flush with anger and resentment. The date and time matched the receipt I had found. Rachel, why? Were you really going to run away with Norman? Was I really such a monster? Let's go open that door that we found the key for. The door was stuck. Wait, but I have a key. Maybe the basement's locked, and we just don't know because I never touched it. Yep, I unlocked the basement door. Jung, 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 jung. What's this? There was old Christmas decorations in the box. Oh, we are going to get these out and we're going to decorate. I couldn't even remember our last Christmas. You know, it was in December, like it is every year. Garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was an old key, which I took. I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. Looked like there was plaster and an old trowel in here too. Let's go unlock that door up there. I know there was probably more stuff over there, but I was like, I got a key! The graphic key I'd found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? It was totally us. We did that. There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need it? Why not? I lifted the crowbar and appreciated its weight. You know, crowbar, I don't think enough people appreciate how heavy you are, but I do. By the looks of it, the crowbar had broken a few of these things. Don't worry, crowbar. Nobody appreciates you like I do. Alright, I guess I didn't finish exploring the basement. Okay, Christmas decorations and bags. Ooh, there were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. We had way too much junk. That would explain why I go around picking up everything I find. Did I break through the wall? Oh no! With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down here? Was she okay? Don't look. Oh no! Oh no! Did we go all telltale heart? Black cat? Oh no, don't look! Ah! A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I'd come this far. After all this searching, after all I'd seen when I looked within the rags, Did I finally find my Rachel? Yes or no? Wait, I get to choose if it's Rachel or not? That bitch had it coming. Yes, it's Rachel. I don't know. Wrapped within the filthy rags, pale and still, was Rachel. She was covered in faded bruises and what looked like cuts. Her chest was a horrible mess of blood and dirt, and I couldn't bear to look at it. The knife in my boot, the gun in my pocket, were they the tools of her murder? I thought about all I'd seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and went back upstairs. Reluctantly, exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Oh. If I wake up back in that house, I'm gonna flip my shit. Oh, okay, no, I'm in my own house. Hey, where's her suitcase? Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. No matter what, I needed some kind of escape. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or someone else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower. Was I at all those places before? That was a lot of evidence. I'm gonna say no. No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in any damn forest. There, that was decided. Okay. This was the old photo of that other man and his wife. I found it in that house. I recall those faded remains I had found deep under his house. What had he done there? Well, what did I think? Was that man involved in this whole mess somehow? Yes, definitely. Those tunnels and the odd tools in his house and the remains of his wife. He wasn't innocent, that's for sure. But who had killed him? Within the few broken pieces that remained of that mirror, I could see my face had grown pale and weak. I couldn't bear to look again. It was like I didn't actually expect a reflection. I felt emptied and drained. Perhaps I would never know how that mirror came to be broken. Was it by Rachel's assailant or by Rachel herself? The thought lingered and would haunt me forever. It was the key card I found at the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through the door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? I don't think it was Norman, no. I'm gonna go with no. No, somebody else was using that locker room, but who? I had made up my mind. The laptop had finally run out of power. Oh, finally! Months later. How long had it been left running? Man, I gotta get me one of those Dells. The reflection in that grimy glass was only a shadow, a whisper. The quiet in that room unnerved me terribly. I still loved the old-time char of that claw-footed bathtub, though it seemed a cold comfort then. Ooh. It was the letter I had taken from the post box. Rachel, were you really having an affair? But why? I didn't think things were that bad. In the letter, Rachel seemed confused. She was almost seemed worried about what Norman might do. Did he do that to Rachel? Yes. I was sure of it. She wanted to end their affair, and that bastard, he killed her for it. A lot of it made sense. Norman was clearly seeing Rachel a lot, so he had plenty of time to plan it out. He obviously knew where we lived. Is that why Rachel looked so scared when I came home that day? What had happened to me? Did Norman knock me out? I didn't know what to think. I just wanted to put this whole mess behind me. From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. About things like that made me sick with grief. It was a safe. My old office safe sat on the floor. It used a digital pass lock. Did I try and open it? I didn't think it was important at the time. I gotta find like a number or something for it. I don't think I found anything, have I? I leafed through the notebook I'd taken. These were the names that had been written down. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Sherry, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. I recall the names I saw scratched out on the old desk deep within the musty tunnels. Was the man in the house really up to something? Was he the one responsible for Rachel's murder? But I had found him dead. Okay, so let's think this through. We have a drinking problem, so we're the one probably drinking. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Can I just leave? The mail still sat there, heaped on the floor. How long had Rachel been in the basement? It seemed like that mail had been there for a while. There was nothing for me here anymore, no reason to stay in the house. Did I leave, never to return? I gotta know what's in the basement. I felt like I had to think about it a bit more. I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm struggling because it's leaving it up to me to kind of put the pieces together. I don't think I'm putting them together well. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Did I pick up the knife? No. There were other means of dealing with this. Wait, can I go through the thing? Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back into that room again. I'd already seen too much. If I wanted to end it, I could do it. I could do it with the gun. Did I pick it up again? I already said no to the knife, so yeah, let's go ahead. Felt like I was carrying an anvil. I wouldn't let it go, not again. I sat down at the table and stared at the gun in my hand. It didn't feel so heavy this time. If I wanted to, I could finally use the gun to end this. The question was, did I think I deserved it? Did I? Was this my fault? Did I deserve to die? Okay, so Rachel's dead in our basement. We got that guy in the house that's dead. Norman's dead. A couple of guards are dead. Our evidence is freaking everywhere. Those 2 girls in the forest were dead. We did see that other shadow, though. So there theoretically could be a serial killer. Alright, there's a serial killer that's going around killing people. We decided to mimic what he did and killed Rachel, maybe? Because we found out about the affair and then the trauma kind of caused us to forget about it. I don't know! Why you put this man's fate in my hands? I think one way or another, we probably killed Rachel. It just doesn't make sense any other way. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that's when I started sleepwalking and disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctor reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. But I swear I had tried to give it up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away, though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. It was obvious to me that the man I had found in the house had something to do with all of this. Could he have killed Rachel? It started to seem that there were too many things I had seen to think otherwise. After making it out of those tunnels, I thought those sewers might be safer. The security tape I watched showed someone being attacked by what looked like 2 people. Okay, so maybe we teamed up with the serial killer, right? And with him, we killed Rachel. He helped us bury the body, but then in our guilt, we flipped our shit and killed the guy. But who was it that was attacked? With Rachel gone, the implications of what had happened that night were starting to gnaw at me. Someone had clearly taken my wallet. It wasn't me in those woods or at Norman's. But who could have done so, and why drop my things all over the place? Was someone trying to incriminate me? I think so, yeah. Deep within, because like no matter how bad you are, you don't lose all of your possessions. Deep within those woods, though, was where things became truly awful. Finding that notebook only made things worse. Rachel's name had been in that list. So what terrible plot was she part of? I think we added Rachel to that guy's list to kill. There was a similar list of names on that desk back in the tunnel. What was the connection? Whatever had happened, I knew at least that Norman wasn't the one who kept going back to the factory. I hoped it meant that he had nothing to do with that guard's violent end. But who had been rooting through those lockers or drinking in that boarded-up room? That'd be me. After the factory, I thought I could find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store. But all I'd found were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really considered it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Norman, you were dead, and it was damn hard to feel bad about that. It was clear you and Rachel were more than just friends, but obviously, whatever had been going on had gone badly. So why did you kill her? Did she want out of whatever you two were getting into? Were you responsible for the other murders and of those other horrible things that had gone in that town? I would find no peace, that much was certain, but this way I didn't have to look you in the eye or sit through some kind of trial and wonder what was going through your head. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end, and I guess in a way it did, but how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked. To think of it now, coming through the back door and into the kitchen, should have tipped me off that something was horribly wrong. There was no sound of television, radio, even the air was still. But seeing Rachel there, lying, ruined and discarded in the basement, that was a horror I never could have imagined. What other man I had found was involved in all this somehow. I knew it. But it was Norman, that traitorous son of a bitch who had done the deed. Whatever was going on, he was the one who took Rachel away from me. I hated him for it more than I could possibly express, but that offered no strength, no solace. Rachel was gone now, and I was too, forever. I checked the gun again. It still had a few bullets left. I felt surprisingly calm as I sat there with it. I could feel its weight, and perhaps it was that sense, that presence, that allowed me to understand what had to be. Rachel was dead, and there was nothing I could do about it. Boy, they sure like to wait on that one, huh? Oh. Okay, so this definitely has multiple endings. So let me know, guys, in the comments if you want me to go and get the other endings or if you want me to move on to another game. Okay, I won't do a roll just yet. If you guys want me to move on to another game, let me know in the comments. I can't stress that enough, okay? The home is dedicated to my wife, Nancy. Watch your back. Oh, Benjamin. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Press A to share your story, what happened to you. Thank you so much for watching. Give me that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want more content. And I appreciate everything you guys have done. I really do. Alright. Bye bye.